Gourmet number 23. Welcome.
What? Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the excellent and hunger-inducing tale of Toriko. I keep saying that about the hunger-inducing, but honestly, these last few chapters have been just, real nice, solid action with some good background story, some world and characterization and development and world building. It's just very good stuff. So the last chapter saw us with, of course, Toriko sensing something was amiss or something was out of place with the battle wolf, and at the end of the chapter, he wound up going and getting into the Colosseum somehow, and then performing a double Kugi punch or spiked punch, whichever you prefer. It says spiked, of course, in my Viz translation, but Kugi does sound much cooler. And he winds up going and hitting the Growlrus with that, and coming to, it appears to be the Battle Wolf's aid. So, and then he kind of looks at the Battle Wolf at the end and goes, hello, it's nice to meet a legend. So that's where things leave off. That's where this chapter picks up. And this one was really a good one in the sense of, for you action junkies out there, this one was good. It was a lot of fun. It was very cool because we wind up seeing that Growlrus goes and looks, it's kind of, that's what he wound up hitting was the Growlrus, and with his double spike punch, and he goes, and the Growlrus kind of looks at him like pissed off. He's like, yeah, be happy I only hit you with a double one, So, and then in the next page, it's cool because Toriko goes and uses that cool, like, battle aura thing that he has, where he just all of a sudden has, like, this amazing, huge, like, evil demon-like aura above him, and he's just like, you're done, Growlrus, and the next one, I'm just like, and the Growlrus is like, whoa, fuck, all right, dude, calm down, So the Battle Wolf is looking on like, okay, I don't know, and, the Battle Wolf's kind of apprehensive, doesn't know what's going on to begin with. We wind up, finding out actually a few pages into it that he smelled and he could sense that she's very pregnant. So I guess I was right with my prediction. She was pregnant, but she's like not just pregnant, like she's about to give birth now. So then it goes and it gives this detailed background, which I really enjoy in this series, of the battle wolf. And battle wolves, unlike regular wolves, do not roam in packs. They're loners. And the only day that a newborn gets to spend with its mother is the actual day of its birth. After that, they're gone, this and that. So it's the one day that the battle wolf sets aside and basically puts its fangs to rest and does not fight. It doesn't want to fight. It just wants to show its adoration and love for its newborn child for that one day. So definitely kind of a cool explanation because I guessed on the pregnancy thing, but really had no idea about this other background stuff because it's completely different from what I would have known, about actual wolves, because it's certainly different in the manga over here. So definitely, hats off to the creator. It's just very good stuff. So we wind up getting then to, and we find out that Toriko, the average human, there's hundreds of thousands of different scents, right? And the average human can smell like 100 of them, I think it says, or maybe in the hundreds. Whereas Toriko, his is so acute, his sense is so good that it's better than a dog's, okay? And it doesn't say how many that he can smell, but it is better than the dog's, and he could actually smell the unique signature of her amniotic fluid, which is what the baby, and for people who aren't familiar with children, so that's what the amniotic fluid is, what you actually breathe in when you are inside your mother's uterus, and this, same thing obviously for an animal like this, I guess, and it's what you actually breathe before you are born and hit the air, and of course that amniotic fluid is then drained from your lungs, and you actually take your first breaths of oxygen through your lungs. So it was kind of neat to see that he could smell that, and then he's thinking about it, he's like, but how did this thing wind up pregnant since it was just a clone, was it this parthenogenesis, I think it was called, and they explain that the parthenogenesis, or genoditis, what it is basically, it's like it wound up impregnating itself somehow just from its eggs. It wound up somehow just fertilizing its eggs that are in with it, and really there's not a whole lot that I can compare that to. I'm not a scientist, but I do know that from what I've heard and what I've seen in my limited access, for learning the last 10 years or so since I have been out of school, with things like the Discovery Channel and the History Channel, I do know that there is some species of creatures out there, be it insects or mammals or reptiles, that can do things like that. So this is definitely rooted in some actual truth and is not just completely fictional. So Very neat stuff, and that's just the beginning of the chapter. Then we go and we see, and we see he tells, Toriko goes and he says, director, this battle wolf is pregnant. You got to go. You have to go and get all these other animals wrangled in and blah blah. So Director Mansom's like, you know what? And he's kind of like, the battle wolf's not even, doesn't even look like it's prepared to fight. Basically, he can tell that things are off. The thing's not trying to attack Toriko, and he can just feel that there's something off with it too. So he goes and calls down to Rin, and he's like, hey, Rin, listen. And Rin's still like freaking just all head over heels because Toriko's back. Oh God, Toriko's back. I want to suck his. Anyway, and I don't know exactly what the story is with that, but I know that she's definitely a little bit gaga over Toriko. So, because she's like, Mansom's like, you got to get these animals calmed down and sedate them, and she's like, you just told me to rile them up, right? So then she goes, and in between him talking over the loudspeaker, she's going and putting on makeup and blush and everything else. And the whole time this is going on, we go and we see Gate 6, and Gate 6 has been open, but the Devil Python decided not to come out yet. It's just been chilling there, right, soaking up the battle fragrance hormone or pheromones or whatever, getting ready to fuck some shit up. And she's playing around with her makeup. And then it goes back to Toriko, and it's kind of cool because the battle wolf all of a sudden just collapses, and I'm thinking, oh shit, the Devil Python came up and like got it from behind or something, nailed it with one of its tentacles or whatever, or grabbed it and we didn't see it. And but basically she's just about to give birth. She collapses, which we find out shortly thereafter. But then Komatsu's like, Toriko, behind you! And Toriko goes and like at the right moment goes and holds his hands up to block or whatever, and the silverback troll Kong, these things are like huge with 4 arms, came up behind him, was going boom, to give him like a double hammer punch on his head, Toriko goes and grabs that shit and then just boom, just jacks him up, because you can see in the next panel whatever the thing's like, and it's like a cartoon, man. Its eyes are popping out of its head because he just got nailed by Toriko, So Toriko goes and he tells he's talking to the battle wolf and trying to calm it and everything like that, and he's like, listen, don't you worry about it. I'll take care of these bozos. You just go ahead and relax, He's like, I understand that, this whole Coliseum deal and everything, that's probably like a wound, it's probably wounding your pride, but don't worry about it. I'll take these bozos out in one fell swoop and give some fireworks to boot as well, So it's kind of neat because then you go and you see him and he goes and he grabs the growlers, I think was down, the Elephantsaurus is what it is, the cool elephant looking thing that has a trunk that's like a snake, goes and winds up coming at him. He grabs this thing and it's like yoink, and he goes and just flips it, momentum flips it over his shoulder, And this thing comes flying at the dome that encases these things. Everybody's sitting outside, of course, around the dome in this Coliseum, but this dome that goes over it to keep these crazy beasts, some of them can probably spit acid, and who knows what they can do to keep the patrons safe, right? The betting people. And so we get, Komatsu's like freaking out. He's like, it's coming right at us, And and Director Mansom's like, don't worry about it. It's acrylic so-and-so. It's 2.5 meters thick, which would be, 7, 8, 9 feet. And he's like, he goes, a rocket, rocket could hit that and it wouldn't break it or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden he's like, oh crap, or oh shit or whatever, something to that effect, like, oh God. And then you go and you see this thing, it's like, it goes right through the acrylic and goes flying out. And then Toriko goes and he's like, yeah, sorry, Director Mansom. He's like, that you're gonna have to close the Coliseum for a while. And Mansom's like, no, don't do it, Toriko, no. And Toriko's just like, 5-fold Kugi punch. And then we know from seeing that one before, when he geared up and did that one, and obviously just kind of hulked up and did that one, when he was with Coco, he did the Devil Python. The Devil Python was done after that, dead, not moving anymore. So winds up going and completely shattering the dome, right? People are freaking out. Everybody's running. Godzilla's attacking the city. Everybody's taking off, They're like, the creatures are going to get out. It's just hilarious, this mayhem that's caused. And Toriko goes and he's just like, Komatsu, look, he's like, isn't that great when the acrylic busts up into the air like that? It looks like little sparklies coming down in the air. It's so nice to commemorate the, the birth of the king of the battle wolves, And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, man, you got to always destroy everything. But it's kind of cool, though, because there's just this cool, like, stoic-looking pose of Toriko, and he's just like, Komatsu, welcome to the age of gourmet. And I just think about, like, it's just, just a cool, prolific look of him, And so definitely very, very fun. We then go and we see Rin has gone and she's gotten her makeup on, and as she was running out, she's like, oh God, I haven't put makeup on in so long, I forgot how to do it, And of course she just wants to suck Toriko's, ooh, shut your mouth. There's kids watching. No, but she's, like I said, definitely a little bit wet in the panty area, I guess you would say. I don't know. She's very excited to see Toriko. Let's put it that way. So who knows if they had a love flame before, if it was just an interest of hers, or if everybody's just like, oh, Toriko, he's such a hunk. I love his spiky hair and his big muscles. But I'm not really sure what the deal is with that thing. So she goes and she runs into the Coliseum, and she's like, oh no, I left the devil python gate open, with the pheromones still pumping in there for the, the anger pheromones, the battle pheromones, right? And she's like, oh man, I gotta hit that with the, whatever this stuff is that she has, it like calms, like the sedation type stuff. I gotta hit that one first, right? So she goes to go towards it and get in there. And, of course, try to sedate, that one. And that's probably, let's just, I'm just going to spitball over here, okay, and take a wild freaking guess, but let's just assume that that's going to be the antagonist in the next chapter, that Toriko's going to have to deal with this thing. Because the chapter ends with like oh no, one of those type of things, like, we've got big problems here. So I definitely think that just my little my limited ability at foreshadowing, I think that the devil python's going to have to be dealt with in the next chapter over here. We're getting close to the end too of the third volume, so we've got I think a couple more chapters in there. So definitely a fun chapter. Ultimately, my chapter question is what did you think of the whole explanation? The whole explanation of the battle wolf. I thought that was kind of a really neat and really and I think it was a very fitting explanation. It was my personal opinion for the reason that this thing any other day will just like decimate an entire population if it needs to, but this one day that it actually gives birth or whatever, it becomes this kind of calm and docile animal, so to speak. So and the whole time this was all going on up until Toriko shattering, everybody running, everybody was like trying to bet on Toriko, and his odds went up and everything else. He was the top. He was like a 1-to-1 odd to win. So. It was definitely very cool stuff. But let me know what you think, brothers and sisters, in the comments down below. I'm certainly enjoying this journey that we've just started to embark on over here. And feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Or just chilling with the battle wolf. You should subscribe. That is all.